We are live. You know. We are live. Wow, good morning. Good morning. Pare.
Wala ka sa akin eh.
So, live po tayo ngayon. Medyo may technical problem tayo ngayon dito sa ating system dito sa mansion, ano? So, dito mo po muna tayo sa cellphone, ano? Lifestyle sa Good Morning Sir Dong. Okay, so short live lang po ito, no? Short discussion lang po ito, no? Just to uh, may mga clarifications lang po tayo, no? Maaring hindi po tayo magbabasa ng ating mga sa comment section, no? Kasi limited po yung ating access, no? Or hindi ko kabisado itong cellphone ko ngayon, no? And of course, mega love shoutout sa lahat ng nandito sa comment section, no? Share po natin yung live natin at atin pong pag-usapan, ano, yung nangyari, no? Yung nangyari kahapon, ano, na talaga naman, no? Nasaksihan po natin personal yung pagkatanggap ni Boss FLM, yung kanyang hatol, anong branch or Regional Trial Court ng Manila ay napaiyak po. Habang nagbabasa si FLM ay napaiyak po. Just imagine, ano. So ganun po siya, kumbaga nakita mo siya kung gaano siya ka astig, ano. Pero just the same, malambot ang kanyang puso, marunong siyang umiyak. Ayun, hindi lang po, pare, pakikuha mo yung towel ko sa baba.
Tawel?
Oo.
Is tawel.
Alright, so asan na yung order ng court? Di lang, ha. Okay, so share niyo po. Didiscuss lang po natin further ang nagiging decision, no, ng Regional Trial Court. Ng well, wait lang, ha. Saglit lang, ha.
Buksan mo yung aircon.
Di na. Tawagan lang po natin yung abogado niya, ano. Good morning, attorney. Yes, attorney. Good news. Hello, attorney. May good news po ako sa inyo. Yung pong ano, attorney, yun pong conviction ni FLM dun sa kanyang anti-alias. Na-reverse po ng RTC. Oo, doon sa ano, sa RTC. Kasi sa MTC 'yun eh, yung na-convict siya ng MTC tapos nag-appeal tayo nag-MR tayo, denied pa rin. So sa RTC na reverse po kahapon dumating yung desisyon. So na reverse acquitted po siya. Padala po kayo ng kopya rito, attorney. Sige. Alright. Yun lang po, attorney. So, yeah. Laking bagay ito, no? Sige, attorney. Okay. Thank you, attorney. Bye-bye.
Xerox yan.
Xerox pa rin. No.
Mamaya na lang.
So, yun po, no? We are live here at the mansion, no? At, Diyos ko, maraming salamat at talaga naman, no? At last, sa daming pambabatikos sa atin, ano? Ay ito po, napatunayan po natin na talaga naman ang hindi po natutulog ang Diyos, ano? Sa inyong mga panalangin na naway magkaroon ng katarungan, no? Na ito ngayon ay ating babasahin ngayon, no? Importante po niyo pong malaman, no? Dahil ako mismo, no, ay kung mapapansin niyo po yung decision po ng MTC, no, ay wala po silang ano doon, eh. Wala po silang kumbaga parang 2 pages lang po yata yon o 3. So this time napakarami, bali 18, no, or 19 page o 18 pages yung the whole decision, ano. 19 o 18 pages. So doon sa una ay hindi na po nila diniscuss masyado yung paano nagkaroon ng paano yung prosecution, yung proseso ng pagdinig, no? Wala po silang sinasite na mga jurisprudence, at hindi po nila inexplain, no? Gaano yung proseso ng pagdinig, kung sino-sino yung mga taong nagiging witness, minsan hindi nga nabanggit, kung yung mother ni FLM ay nag-testify o hindi. So hindi rin nabanggit kung yung civil registrar ng Tarangnan ay nabanggit, no? Hindi po nila nabanggit yun, ano? Whereas ito ngayon, yung decision na yun, itong ating appeal dito sa Regional Trial Court, sa higher court, no, ay talagang iniisa-isa po. Iniisa-isa po ang kung paano grabe, iniisa-isa po pati yung mga jurisprudence kasama na po yun. Well, siguro basahin kong buo itong nagiging desisyon ng Regional Trial Court, no, kasama sa desisyon. Okay? So, diyan lang po kayo. Hindi po ako magbabasa ng comment ngayon. Basta magkwentuhan na lang kayo habang nanonood kayo sa akin. Okay? So, ito po. Greetings sa people of the Philippines versus Norman Mangusin E. Antonio alias Francis Leo Marcos E. Antonio. yung accused. Criminal case for illegal use of alias. This is violation of Section 1 and 3 of CA number 142 as amended by Republic Act 6085. So ito po yung kabuuang decision ng Regional Trial Court ng Manila. Hindi ko na lang babanggitin kung yung branch. Basta ang importante ay yung nasa loob ng desisyon, ano? So, sinsya na po, hindi po muna ako magbabasa ng mga comments. Diretso po ako basahin itong naging desisyon. Kasi kagabi pang hindi natin mabasang buo gawa nung wala po tayong oras. But right now, ay minabuti po natin na basahin ang lahat. Okay? So, notice of order, Norman Mangosin y Antonio alias Francis Leo Marcos Antonio, Cybercrime Division ng NBI, and of course, si Attorney Cambry, ating legal counsel, and the Honorable Presiding Judge ng Metropolitan Trial Court ng Manila. Okay? So, greetings. You are hereby notified by this presence that on 22nd day of February 2023, an order was issued in the above titled case, copy of which is here to attach. Manila, Philippines, March 1, 2023. Clerk of Court, Manila. Alright? So, diretso na po tayo sa decision. Okay? On appeal is the judgment dated. Okay, ito yung appeal, ha? On appeal is the judgment dated 4 August 2022 of the Metropolitan Trial Court, Branch 28, Manila, and criminal case number M-MNL-20-04180CR, finding herein accused appellant Norman Mangosin y Antonio alias Francis Leo Marcos y Antonio guilty beyond reasonable doubt for violation of Sections 1 and 3 of Commonwealth Act number 142, also known as anti-alias. Okay, the facts. In an information dated 15 July 2020. So, nung July 2020, yung information nito, filed before the Metropolitan Trial Court, Branch 28, Manila, accused appellant Norman Mangosin y Antonio alias Francis Leo Marcos Antonio was charged with violation of Sections 1 and 3 of Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085, committed as follows. That on or about May 20, 2020 and subsequent thereto in the city of Manila, Philippines, the said accused did then and there willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously use the name Francis Leo Marcos y Antonio, which name is different from the one with which he was registered at birth in the local civil registry, to wit, Norman Mangosin y Antonio, and presented himself as Francis Leo Marcos y Antonio in public or private documents such as the apprehensions data, arrest information sheet, Philippine passport, driver's license, and TIN ID issued by the Bureau of Internal Revenue without stating or affixing his real name or original name, and all names, aliases, or pseudonyms he is or have been authorized to use. Okay? Contrary to law, during the arraignment on 20 October 2020, accused appellant Norman Mangosin Antonio alias Francis Leo Marcos Antonio, with the assistance of counsel, pleaded not guilty to the crime charged. Thereupon, pre-trial and trial on the merits ensued. At the trial, the prosecution presented the following witnesses. Attorney Rachel Abilida, Bernard Corrales, Adolfo Michael Estrada, and Luz Perez, and documentary evidence tending to prove the following. So yun po sila yung mga witnesses. On 19 May 2020, the accused appellant was arrested for violation of Republic Act 8050, otherwise known as Revised Optometry Law of 1995. Thereafter, he was brought before the Office of the National Bureau of Investigation, Cybercrime Division for proper documentation. Some of the documents seized from the accused appellant were his passports, bearing the name Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. On 20 May 2020, upon inquiry of the pertinent documents, the name Norman Mangosin Antonio appeared on the NBI record clearance dated July 8, 2004, bearing the accused appellant's face. Records also showed that the Office of the Civil Registrar General of Manila issued a certification dated 3 January 2013, certifying that the name Francis Leo Marcos Antonio does not appear to have any record of birth. Accused appellant even admitted that he was using both the name of Francis Leo Marcos and the name of Mangosin Norman E. Antonio. At that point, the accused was arrested for violation of Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act 6085, otherwise known as the Anti-Alias Law. Di ba? So, sinasabi na dito, sinasabi ng allegations na inaresto siya sa bisa ng warrant daw of arrest ng optometry law, and pangalawang arrest niya ay yung violation dun sa anti-alias law. Okay? Tuloy po tayo. The prosecution alleged that considering that the accused appellant used an alias name Francis Leo Marcos since 2007 and he only became a social media sensation this 2020, he is not one of those who are allowed to use the same. To prove their allegations, the latter verified the identities of Norman Mangosin Antonio, Francis Leo Marcos, and Norman Alejandro Antonio to Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA and Land Transportation Office. PSA submitted a compliance manifestation dated 4 June 2020, which stated that only the certificate of live birth of one Norman Antonio Mangosin E. Antonio exists in the records and that no records of birth existing under the name of Francis Leo Marcos E. Antonio and Norman Alejandro Antonio. The LTO, on the other hand, issued a certification dated 6 June 2020 of the driver's license data of Norman Mangosin, which matches one that they have received through intelligence gathering. The said license details bears the face image similar to one posting as Francis Leo Marcos Antonio. Also, upon inquiry to the Office of the Civil Registrar General in Baguio City, where Francis Marcos claimed to have been born based on various documents he filled out, the said office issued a certification stating that there is no record of birth under the name Francis Leo Marcos available in their records. To rebut the evidence of the prosecution, to rebut the evidence of the prosecution, the defense presented by Mr. Peñaranda and Mr. Remedios Mangosin. The civil registrar, the civil registrar of the municipality of Tarangnan, Samar, testified that on January 19, 2021, upon the request of Representative of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. He issued Civil Registry Form number IE indicating the following: Registry number 300, date of registration 29 December 1979, name of child Francis Leo Antonio Marcos, sex male, date of birth 29 December 1979, place of birth Tarangnan, Western Samar, name of mother Remedios Baking Antonio, citizenship of mother Filipino, name of father Pacifico Edalin Marcos, citizenship of father Filipino, date of marriage of parents not stated, place of marriage not stated. After the issuance of the said Civil Registry Form number 1A, through a letter dated 20 January 2021, forwarded it together with the certificate of live birth of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos to the Chief Statistical Specialist of the Philippine Statistics Authority in Catbalogan, Samar. He did that because he found out that the registration of the birth of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos has not yet been forwarded to the PSA. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, meron pong nakarehistro na isang Francis Leo Antonio Marcos doon sa lugar na yon, no? Na hindi pa po na-forward sa Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA. So meron po talagang nakarehistro noon pa man doon sa isang Civil Registrar's Office sa Samar, no? Okay, Remedios Mangosin, the mother of the accused appellant, testified that during the childhood of her son, he was known in their place as Lorenzo, Enzo, or Norman Lorenzo. His son was born on 29 September 1979 in Bulacan, Bulacan. After she gave birth to Francis Leo, Dr. Pacifico Marcos registered his birth. In 1996, at the age of 17 years old, Francis Leo went to Baguio City and lived therein together with Fortuna Baby Barba. At that time, Dr. Pacifico Marcos and Fortuna Baby Barba were calling his son Francis Leo Marcos. Upon the query of the court, Remedios Mangosin declared that upon giving birth to her son, he registered him as Norman Lorenzo A. Mangosin, with her as his mother and his husband Gilbert Mangosin as his father. She also registered Bulacan, Bulacan as the place of birth of her son. On August 4, 2022, the court co-promulgated the appeal judgment, the dispositive portion of which reads, wherefore, premises considered, judgment is hereby rendered finding accused Norman Mangosin ni Antonio alias Francis Leo Marcos y Antonio guilty beyond reasonable doubt of a violation of sections 1 and 3 of Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085 as charged in the information, and he is hereby sentenced to suffer the penalty of imprisonment of 3 years and to pay a fine of 10,000 pesos with subsidiary imprisonment in case of insolvency. So ordered. So yun po ang naging decision noong Metropolitan Trial Court ng Manila noong August 4. Now, on 26 August 2022, the accused appellant filed a motion for reconsideration of the judgment dated 23 August 2022. However, the same was denied as the court finds no justifiable ground to reconsider its judgments. Hence, this appeal on 10 November 2022, the accused appellant filed his memorandum of appeal. The plaintiff appellee, on the other hand, did not file a memorandum. Alright, so ulitin ko po. On 10 November 10, 2022, the accused appellant filed his memorandum of appeal. The plaintiff appellee, on the other hand, did not file a memorandum. Okay? So, in his memorandum of appeal, the accused appellant raised the following errors committed by the court. To it. Number 1, the Honorable Court committed a grave and highly reversible error in ruling that accused appellant is guilty of violating sections 1 and 3 of CE number 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085. Even if the prosecution failed to prove the presence of confusion and fraud in business transactions to constitute an offense within the concept of the said law under which accused appellant is prosecuted. So sinasabi po dito na the prosecution failed to prove, no? Yun yung isa sa mga argument natin, no? Argument ng lawyer dito, no? The prosecution failed to prove the presence of confusion and fraud in business transactions to constitute an offense within the concept of the said law under which accused appellant is prosecuted. So, maliwanag po, no, na hindi po failed po, the prosecution failed to prove the presence of confusion. So walang confusion doon sa pangalan, and fraud in business transactions to constitute an offense with the concept of the said law under which accused appellant is prosecuted. So wala pong panluloko, no? Hindi po ginamit ni FLM, Francis Leo Marcos, ang pangalang Francis Leo Marcos sa panluloko. So ito yung unang argumento nila. Number 2, the Honorable Court committed a grave and highly reversible error in ruling that accused appellant is guilty of violating sections 1 and 3 of CE number 142 as amended by RE number 6085. Even if the prosecution failed to discharge their duty to prove each and every element of the crime charged in the information to warrant a finding guilt for that crime. Diba? Number 3, the Honorable Court committed a grave and highly reversible error in ruling that accused appellant is guilty of violating sections 1 and 3 of CE number 142 as amended by RE number 6085 when it did not rely on the strength of the prosecution's evidence but instead bank on the weakness of the defense of the accused appellant. Di ba? So, instead, hindi po, no? It did not rely on the strength of the prosecution's evidence. Di ba, di ba? So, yung prosecution's when it did not rely on the strength of the prosecution's evidence but instead bank on the weakness of the defense of the accused appellant. So, nag-rely lang po sila sa weakness ng defense ng accused appellant ng grupo ng FLM. So, issue, the said errors may be summarized into one issue. Whether or not confusion and fraud in business transactions must exist in the use of the alias Francis Leon Antonio Marcos of the accused appellant for him to be convicted beyond reasonable doubt of the offense of violation of Sections 1 and 3 of Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085. Okay, ito yung mga jurisprudence ha. Citing the case of Ursua versus Court of Appeals, the accused appellant argued that the prosecution must prove the presence of confusion. Di ba? The prosecution must prove the presence of confusion and fraud in business transactions to constitute an offense within the concept of Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085, under which he is prosecuted. He claimed that applying the aforesaid jurisprudence to the present case, the prosecution did not present any private complainant nor offered the testimony of a private person who performed a business transaction with the accused. Diba? So yun yung pagkakamali nila, no? Ng prosecution, no? Na hindi po, no? Wala po silang nadala sa korte na nagrereklamo na ginagamit yung pangalang Francis Leo Marcos para manloko. Yun yung fraud, di ba? Okay? Ito yung sinasabi, the prosecution did not present any private complainant nor offered the testimony of a private person who performed a business transaction with the accused. So wala pong nagreklamo laban kay Francis Leo Marcos, private complainant. So hindi po sila nakapag-attach ng mga kaso ni Francis Leo Antonio Marcos na nagpapatunay na ginamit niya yung pangalang Francis Leo Marcos para manloko. Instead, the prosecution presented witnesses coming from the government, di ba? Or public offices who never presented nor proved any business dealing or transaction with the accused. Di ba? Maliwanag, no? Since the confusion and fraud in business transactions that Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085 seeks to prevent are not present in the present case, the acquittal of the accused appellant is in order. Alright? So, yun. Ruling. At the outset, the certificate of live birth of the accused appellant as Norman Antonio Mangosin is given more faith and credence by this court than the certificate of live birth of accused appellant as Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. Di ba? Di ba? Ruling, ito pakinggan nyo, at the outset, no, the certificate of live birth of the accused appellant as Norman Antonio Mangosin is given more faith, di ba? Is given more faith, pinaburan, di ba? And credence by this court than the certificate of live birth of the accused appellant as Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. O di ba? So ibig sabihin, yung birth certificate ni Norman Antonio Marcos ay binigyan nila ng bigat, samantalang hindi nila in-honor yung birth certificate ni FLM as Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. Kasi meron na may submission na di ba? Maliwanag. At yun ay certified true copy po yun. Okay? Pursuant to Section 12 Act of Act 3753, an act to establish a civil register, the records of births from all cities and municipalities in the Philippines are officially and regularly forwarded to the Civil Registrar General in Metro Manila by the local civil registrars. The said sections reads, okay, duties of local civil registrar. Local civil registrars shall file registrable certificates and documents presented to them for entry. B. Compile the same monthly and prepare and send any information required of them by the civil registrar. Letter C. Issue certified transcripts or copies of any document registered upon payment of proper fees. Letter D. Order the binding properly classified of all certificates or documents registered during the year, sent to the Civil Registrar General during the first 10 days of each month, a copy of the entries made during the preceding month for filing. Index the same to facilitate search and identification in case any information is required, and administer oaths free of charge for civil register purposes. So, yun yung po ang duties ng mga local civil registrar. Hence, it was testified to by Bernard Corrales, an employee of the Philippine Statistics Authority, that the certificate of live birth of Norman Antonio Mangosen is on file at their office, while the certificate of live birth of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos is not. With that, it appears that the certificate of live birth of accused as Norman Antonio Mangosen is an authentic copy, as it was transmitted by the local civil registry of Bulacan to the Civil Registry General and duly filed therein, while the certificate of live birth of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos is spurious. Thus, the certificate of live birth of Norman Antonio Mangosen is prima facie evidence of the facts therein stated. The court takes note of the testimony of Remedios Mangosen, the mother of the accused, that she registered the birth of her son in Bulacan. Moreover, the event about which the civil registrar of the municipality of Tarangnan, Samar, put in the civil registry form number 1A he issued was the record of the birth of a certain Francis Leo Antonio Marcos, which allegedly took place on 29 September 1979. Per the copy of the certificate of live birth of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos, the local civil registrar of the municipality of Tarangnan, Western Samar, at the time was Guido Ruben. Necessarily, Peñaranda's knowledge of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos' birth record, allegedly made and entered in the local civil registry on 29 December 1979, was based merely on his general impressions of the existing records in his office. Furthermore, the certificate of live birth of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos shows that his mother, Remedios Baking Antonio, and father, Pacifico Edralin Marcos, were not married, and the affidavit of acknowledgement, admission of paternity appearing at the back of the certificate was not subscribed by Pacifico Edralin Marcos. Given the statement in the certificate of live birth of Francis Leo Antonio Marcos that Remedios Mangosen and Pacifico Edralin Marcos were not married, and there is no acknowledgement of paternity of Pacifico Edralin Marcos pursuant to Section 5 of Act Number 3753 and Article 280 of Civil Code of the Philippines, the local civil registrar has no authority to make or record that paternity of an illegitimate child in Roses versus Local Civil Registrar. It was written that, upon the other hand, Section 5 of Act 3753 specifically ordains in the penultimate paragraph thereof. Okay? Ito na tayo, ha? Now, for using Francis Leo Antonio Marcos, a name different from his registered name at birth of Norman Antonio Mangosen, in several documents, the court, in its judgment dated for August 2022, convicted the accused appellant for violation of Sections 1 and 3 of Commonwealth Act 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085. This court, however, upon perusal of the judgment dated for August 2022, finds that the court overlooked and failed to take into consideration the decision of the Supreme Court in Ursua versus Court of Appeals. Under the doctrine of stare decisis, when the Supreme Court has once laid down a principle of law as applicable to a certain state of facts, it will adhere to that principle and apply it to all future cases where facts are substantially the same, regardless of whether the parties and property are the same. The doctrine of stare decisis is based on the legal principle of role involved and not upon the judgment which results therefrom. And in this particular sense, stare decisis differs from res judicata, which is based upon judgment. The doctrine of stare decisis is a policy grounded on the necessity for securing certainty and stability of judicial decisions. Thus, time and again, the court has held that it is a very desirable and necessary judicial practice that when a court has laid down a principle of law as applicable to a certain state of facts, it will adhere to that principle and apply it to all future cases in which the facts are substantially the same. Stare decisis it non quita movere, stand by the decisions and disturb not what is settled. Stare decisis simply means that for the sake of certainty, a conclusion reached in one case should be applied to those that follow if the facts are substantially the same, even though the parties may be different. It proceeds from the first principle of justice that absent any powerful countervailing considerations, like cases ought to be decided alike. Thus, where the same questions relating to the same event have been put forward by the parties similarly situated as in previous case litigated and decided by a competent court, the role of stare decisis is a bar to any attempt to relitigate the same issue. Following the doctrine of stare decisis, this court is guided by the ruling of the Supreme Court in Orsoa versus Court of Appeals on how the crime punished under Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act 6085 may be committed. Close adherence to this ruling, in other words, is unavoidable in the application of an determination of criminal liability under Commonwealth Act number 142. In Orsoa versus Court of Appeals, it was written, time and again we have decreed that statutes are to be construed in the light of the purposes to be achieved and the evils sought to be remedied. Thus, in construing a statute, the reason for its enactment should be kept in mind, and the statute should be construed with reference to the intended scope and purpose. The court may consider the spirit and reason of this statute, where literal meaning would lead to absurdity, contradiction, injustice, or would defeat the clear purpose of the lawmakers. For a clear understanding of the purpose of CA number 142 as amended, which was allegedly violated by petitioner, and the surrounding circumstances under which the law was enacted, the pertinent provisions thereof, its amendments and related statutes are herein cited. CE number 142, which was approved on 7 November 1936 and before it's amended by Republic Act number 6085, is entitled An Act to Regulate the Use of Aliases. It provides as follows. Section 1. Except as a pseudonym for literary purposes, No person shall use any name different from the one which he was christened or by which he has been known since his childhood, or such substitute name as may have been authorized by a competent court. The name shall comprise the patronymic name and one or two surnames. Section 2. Any person desiring to use an alias or aliases shall apply for authority, therefore, in proceedings like those legally provided to obtain judicial authority for a change of name. Separate proceedings shall be had for each alias, and each new petition shall set forth the original name and the alias or aliases for the use of which judicial authority has been obtained, specifying the proceedings and the date on which such authority was granted. Judicial authorities for the use of aliases shall be recorded in the proper civil register. The above law was subsequently amended by RE number 6085, approved on August 4, 1969 as amendment CE number 142, now reads Section 1. So yung Commonwealth na yon, na-amend na po yon. Okay, so ito na po yon, yung amendment. Except as a pseudonym solely for literary, cinema, television, radio, or other entertainment purposes and athletic events where the use of pseudonym is a normally accepted practice. No person shall use any name different from the one with which he was registered at birth in the office of the local civil registry, or with which he was baptized for the first time, or in case of all alien with which he was registered in the Bureau of Immigration upon entry, or such substitute name as may have been authorized by a competent court, provided that persons whose births have not been registered in any local civil registry and who have not been baptized have 1 year from the approval of this act within which to register their names in the civil registry of their residence. The name shall comprise the patronymic name and one or two surnames. Section 2. Any person desiring to use an alias shall apply for authority, therefore, in proceedings like those legally provided to obtain judicial authority for a change of name, and no person shall be allowed to secure such judicial authority for more than one alias. The petition for an alias shall set forth the person's baptismal and family name and the name recorded in the civil registry. If different, his immigrant's name, if an alien, and his pseudonym if he has such names other than his original or real name, specifying the reason or reasons for the desired alias. The judicial authority for the use of alias, the Christian name, and the alien immigrant's name shall be recorded in the proper local civil registry, and no one person shall use any name or names other than his original or real name unless the same is or are duly recorded in the proper local civil registry. The objective and purpose of CE number 142 have their origin and basis in Act number 3883, an act to regulate the use in business transactions of the names other than true names, prescribing the duties of the Director of the Bureau of Commerce and Industry in its enforcement, providing penalties for violations thereof and for other purposes, which was approved on 14 November 1931 and amended by Act number 4147, approved on 28 November 1934. The pertinent provisions of Act number 3883 as amended follow. Number 1, Section 1, it shall be unlawful for any person to use or sign on any written or printed receipt, including receipt for tax or business, or any written or printed contract not verified by a notary public, or any written or printed evidence of any agreement of business transactions any name used in connection with his business other than his true name or kept conspicuously exhibited in plain view or at the place where his business is conducted. If he is engaged in a business, any sign announcing a firm name or business name or style without first registering such other name or such firm name or business name or style in the Bureau of Commerce together with his true name and that of any other person having a joint or common interest with him in such contract, agreement, business transaction, or business. For a bit of history, the enactment of CA number 142 as amended was made primarily to curb the common practice among the Chinese of adopting scores of different names and aliases, which created tremendous confusion in the field of trade. Such a practice almost bordered on the crime of using fictitious names, which for obvious reasons could not be successfully maintained against the Chinese who rightly or wrongly claim they possess 1,001 names. C number 142 does penalize the act of using an alias name unless such alias was duly authorized by proper judicial proceedings and recorded in the civil registry. In Yu King Chow versus Republic, the court had occasion to explain the meaning, concept, and ill effects of the use of an alias within the purview of CA number 142 when he ruled, there can hardly be any doubt that petitioner's use of alias Kyung Chow Yang, in addition to his real name Yu Ching Chow, would add to more confusion that he is known in his business as manager of the Robert Reed Inc. with the former name is not sufficient reason to allow him its use. After all, petitioner admitted that he is known to his associates by both names. In fact, the Anselmo Trinidad Inc., of which he is a customer, knows him by his real name. Neither would the fact that he had encountered certain difficulties in his transactions with government offices which required him to explain why he bore two names justify the grant of his petition, for petitioner could easily avoid said difficulties. Wait lang ha. Morning, Tony. Yeah. Okay lang. Maya-maya ko siguro konti. Hinantay ko pa. Yes, yes. Pero magkantay muna siya ang tawag ko. Gawin na lang natin after lunch siguro. Hinantay ko lang. Okay. Thank you, attorney. Okay, bye. Sana tayo. So ito yung no? Ito yung mga jurisprudence na binabasa ko, no? Okay, so diretso na po tayo dito sa pero basahin natin to, importante ito. Importante itong mga jurisprudence na to. The fact that petitioner intends to reside permanently in the Philippines as shown by his having filed a petition for naturalization in branch 5 of the above-mentioned court argues the more against the grant of his petition because if naturalized as a Filipino citizen, there would then be no necessity for his father using said alias, as it would be contrary to the usual Filipino way and practice of using only one name in ordinary as well as business transactions. And as the lower court correctly observed, if he believes that it would be better for him to write his name following the Occidental method, he can easily file a petition for change of name so that in lieu of the name Yu King Chan, he can abandoning the same, ask for authority to adopt the name King Chow Yang. All things considered, we are of the opinion and so hold that petitioner has not shown satisfactory, proper, and reasonable grounds under the aforequoted provisions of Commonwealth Act number 142 and the rules of court to warrant the grant of his petition for the use of alias name. Clearly, therefore, an alias is a name or names used by a person or intended to be used by him publicly and habitually, usually in business transactions, in addition to his real name by which he is registered at birth or baptized the first time, or a substitute name authorized by competent authority. A man's name is simply the sound of sounds by which he is commonly designated by his fellows and by which distinguish him, but sometimes a man is known by several different names, and these are known as aliases. Hence, the use of a fictitious name or a different name belonging to another person in a single instance without any sign or indication that the user intends to be known by this name in addition to his real name from that day forth does not fall within the prohibition contained in say number 142 as amended. This is so in the case at bench. It is not disputed that petitioner introduced himself in the office of the Ombudsman as Oscar Perez, which was have brought the letter to that office in the first place instead of petitioner. So ito yung mga jurisprudence pa yan, no? He did so while merely serving the request of his lawyer to obtain a copy of the complaint in which petitioner was a respondent. There is no question then that Oscar Perez is not an alias name or petitioner. There is no evidence showing that he had used or was intending to use that name as his second name in addition to his real name. The use of the name Oscar Perez was made by petitioner in an isolated transaction where he was not even legally required to expose his real identity. 4. Even he had identified himself properly at the office of the Ombudsman, petitioner would still be able to get a copy of the complaint as a matter of right, and the office of the Ombudsman could not refuse him because the complaint was part of public record since open to inspection and examination by anyone under the proper circumstances. While the act of petitioner may be covered by other provisions of law, such does not constitute an offense within the concept of CA number 142 as amended under which he is prosecuted. The confusion and fraud in business transactions which the anti-alias law and its related statutes seek to prevent are not present here, as the circumstances are peculiar and distinct from those contemplated by the legislature enacting say number 142 as amended. There exists a valid presumption that undesirable consequences were never intended by a legislative measure, and that a construction of which the statute is fairly susceptible is favored, which will avoid all objectionable, mischievous, indefensible, wrongful, evil, and injurious consequences. Moreover, as say number 142 is a penal statute, it should be construed strict against the state and in favor of the accused. The reason for this principle is the tenderness of the law for the rights of individuals, and the object is to establish a certain role by conformity to which mankind would be safe, and the discretion of the court limited. Ended. Our mind cannot rest easy on the proposition that petitioners should be convicted on a law that does not clearly penalize the act done by him. In adherence to the above quoted jurisprudence, okay, in adherence to the above quoted jurisprudence, for the accused appellant to be held liable for the violation of Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085, the prosecution must establish that the accused appellant used Francis Leo Marcos y Antonio a name different from his registered name at birth of Norman Mangosen y Antonio in a business transaction, and the same cause confusion and fraud. In this case, the court finds that the Court of Co failed to adhere to the decision of Ursua versus Court of Appeals. The record is bereft of any showing that the accused appellant used alias Francis Leo Marcos y Antonio in a business transaction and the same caused confusion and fraud. There was no evidence. Okay, there was no evidence presented that the accused appellant Norman Mangosen y Antonio using Francis Leon y Antonio had a business transaction with the prosecution witnesses Attorney Richel Abilida, Bernard Corrales, Adolfo Michael Estrada, and Los Perez, and the same caused confusion and fraud. For failure to adhere to the decision of Ursua versus Court of Appeals, the judgment dated 24 August 2022 by the court was erroneous as correctly argued by the accused appellant. The plaintiff appellee did not even argue and prove that the accused had a business transaction and the same caused confusion and fraud, as it failed to file a memorandum. In view of the foregoing circumstances, the court finds that the guilt of the accused was not proven beyond reasonable doubt. Doubtless, the accused appellant used Francis Leo Antonio Marcos and not his registered name at birth Norman Antonio Mangosen in several documents, but considering that there was doubt engendered by the failure to show that Francis Leo Antonio Marcos was used in a business transaction and the same caused confusion and fraud, the court resolves in the favor of the accused, as written in Rizal versus Sandigan Bayan. First, it is settled that an accused in a criminal case is presumed innocent until the contrary is proved, and that to overcome the presumption, nothing but proof beyond reasonable doubt must be established by the prosecution. The imperative of proof beyond reasonable doubt has a vital role in our criminal justice system. The accused, during a criminal prosecution, having a stake interest of immense importance, both because of the possibility that he may lose his freedom if convicted, and because of the certainty that his conviction will leave a permanent stain on his reputation and name. Law and jurisprudence demand proof beyond reasonable doubt before any person may deprive of his life, liberty, or even property. Enshrined in the Bill of Rights is the right of the petitioner to be presumed innocent until the contrary is proved, and to overcome the presumption. Nothing but proof beyond reasonable doubt must be established by the prosecution. The constitutional presumption of innocence requires courts to take a more than casual consideration of every circumstance of doubt, proving the innocence of petitioner. Verily, an accused is entitled to an acquittal unless his or her guilt is shown beyond reasonable doubt, and it is the primordial duty of the prosecution to present its side with clarity and persuasion, so that conviction becomes the only logical and inevitable conclusion with moral certainty. Indeed, proof beyond reasonable doubt does not mean such a degree of proof, including possibility of error, produces absolute certainty. Moral certainly only is required, or that degree of proof which produces conviction in an unprejudiced mind. Wherefore, premises considered, the appeal is granted. The judgment of the Metropolitan Trial Court, Branch 28, Manila, dated 4 August 2022 in criminal case number M-MNL-20-04180-CR is reversed and set aside. Accordingly, the accused appellant Norman Mangosen y Antonio alias Francis Leo Marcos y Antonio is hereby acquitted of the offense of violation of Section 1 and 3 of Commonwealth Act number 142 as amended by Republic Act number 6085 for failure of the prosecution to prove his guilt beyond reasonable doubt. The cash bail bond in the amount of 15,000 pesos posted by the accused appellant for his provisional liberty in this case under official receipt number 844-03003 is hereby cancelled. The clerk of court is hereby authorized and directed to release the amount thereof in favor of the accused appellant. So ordered. City of Manila, Philippines, 22 February 2023. Signed by the presiding judge. So, that's it. Francis Leo Marcos is Francis Leo Marcos. He was acquitted for violation, the alleged violation he committed. Okay? So, acquitted po siya. And siya po ay manatiling si Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. So, marami po pala, no? Marami pong dapat i-prove. So, unfortunately, yung una sa lower court ay diretso po, no? Wala pong paliwanag. 'Di ba? So, ngayon ay pinaliwanag po sa mga jurisprudence, no? Talagang maraming nangyayaring nagpalit ng pangalan or nagdagdag ng pangalan. Pero in fairness, no, dito sa kaso na to kay Francis Leo Marcos, kung merong registration, no, kung may registered siya as Norman Mangosen, sinasabi ng kanyang nanang, ay meron din po siyang registration, no? Narehistro din po siya as Francis Leo Antonio Marcos sa Civil Registrar's Office. Yun lang, hindi na i-submit, late na i-submit sa PSA. So, alright, so congratulations sa ating lahat. And of course, si FLM kahapon nung natanggap niya to ay talagang umiyak. Hindi mo matawaran yung kanyang katuwaan, no? Kasayahan doon sa nangyaring itong decision na to, nung inilabas to. So sabi ni Ma'am Bell Pepperful, to God be the glory. Yan po. Sabi naman ni Sweet Floor's Vlog, thank you God for good news. His promise never fails to hold. So hold on. Our pandemic hero, Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. Yun po ang kabuuan na decision ng Regional Trial Court of Manila. So, ikaw nga, talaga namang, wait lang ha, ay nakalimutan kong inumin ang aking vitamins. Ang dami nito. So ayun po, nabasa ko na po ang desisyon. So doon sa mga nagsabing siya ay fake, hindi po siya fake. Si Francis Leo Antonio Marcos ay mananatiling Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. So nakakapagod, ano? Nakakapagod magbasa. Pero just the same, ano? Okay, okay.
May internet na?
Xerox ko siya.
Xerox na to pare.
Tama pa yan.
Dalawa pare. Ang Tagalog dyan, Tito Sonny, tunay Francis Leo Marcos. Si Boss, sabi ni Ma'am Bell Pepperful, Mids Alcodia. Miguel of shoutout. Ma'am Tess FLM Canada is WB999. Miguel of shoutout sa inyo. Ma'am Bell. O, diba? Yung palangga natin, Ma'am Bell, nako, umiyak kahapon. Nakita kong masaya po talaga siya. Pareha kami. Bahagyang tumulong ang luha ko, no? Dahil talaga naman.
Nakulam niyo.
At wala po talaga siyang kasalanan. Di ba? So, mahal na, umiyak si boss, no? Si FLM ay umiyak dahil mahal na mahal po niya si Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. AKA spirikitik, walastik, and bombastic. Diba? Ma'am Zina Leo in the house. Miguel Love shoutout. Sarah Galyarte. Sabi ni Sarah Galyarte, damihan niyo po tayo dong ang Xerox parang may pangsampal tayo sa kanila. Aha.
Sabi niya.
Pero in unfairness, may nagre-record na naman sa Zoom. Pambihira naman kayo. Lumuluha din kagabi si Sir Dong nung nagkausap kami. Sabi ni Ma'am Bell Pepperful, Golden Kalakal 258. Yes, siyempre, talagang nakaka-touch ang mga pangyayari, no? Yung ating prayers ay dininig. Yung mga stress na dumaan sa atin ay napawi sa isang decision, di ba? Napakaganda, no? Ems Pascual, give us a copy, Press Dong. Isasama na sa Hong Kong. Yeah. Pagpunta ko ng Hong Kong, bigyan ko ng kopya. Para may dahilan ako para pumunta ng Hong Kong. Ma'am Ems. Shout out everyone, sabi ni Ma'am Bell Pepperful, Extreme Machine. How? USA. Ciao, USA. Hello, Ma'am Bell. Bakit sa inyo umiyak si boss? Kasi sanay baka hindi ka kayak-iyak. Mukha namin kayak-iyak. Ikaw hindi. May magpapa-press con po ba si Sir FLM ngayon? Napatunayan na siya ay legit na si FLM. Alright, schedule natin yan, pa-press con. Umiyak ako kanina, may kausap ako, sabi ni Ems Pascual. Talaga? Di kanya palangga, Tito Sonny. Bugal-bugal lang sa'yo. Ano sabi ni Ma'am Bell? Sabi ni Ma'am Bell before, di ka na kanya palangga, Tito Sonny, kaya bugal-bugal lang sa inyo. Bugal-bugal. May nag-trader sa Zoom. Sige, mag-record pa kayo at ipadala sa kay Aruba. Alam nyo, di ko alam kung ano talaga mga sadya itong mga taong ito. Pero at the end of the day, wala pa rin makakatalo kay FLM. Sige lang, magsawa din kayo. Pero kami, hindi kami magsasawa sa pagtulong sa aming kapwa, no? Sa pagpatuloy ng buhay, no? Kahit pa bakit kamo? Kayo mga ano lang naman kayo, di ba? Mga tsuwariwap lang kayo eh. Samantalang kami rito, di ba? Alam nyo, talaga naman, ay mahirap na magsalita, no? Yung mga vloggers na walang kakwenta-kwenta sa sa mundo, no? Sabi ni Ma'am Venus Buenavista, si Boss Efrem lang ang pinakamalakas, si Presdong Batalan ang pinakamatikas. Yun lang. Tama, kailangan malaban ng ang buong mundo, nalaman ng buong mundo na siya ay tunay na Marcos, sabi ni Dolores FLM TV. At saka sinasabi dito nung una, wala siyang birth certificate. Wala po talaga sa PSA, pero nasa nasa civil registrar. Kasi siyempre nung unang panahon, hindi naman lahat na i-forward kaagad sa may nakakaligtaan na may forward sa PSA. So yun yung nangyari.
Anong ulam niyo?
Sabi naman Bell Pepperful,
Anong ulam?
serious siya sa akin, Tito Sonny, ikaw kasi joker. Ayan, joker ka pala. Kapsat Jin Devotes, Miguel Absiatot, Sir Presdong, Benedict, Bon, at lahat sa comment section. Good morning po, Presdong, at sa lahat ng tunay na sumusuporta kay Boss FLM at tunay na nagmamahal sa kanya. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Maraming salamat. Sabi ni Ma'am Eve Milan, Ipipsay Italy Original. Diba? Grabe. What a day! Sabi ni Ma'am Ems Pascual, today, tears of joy. Diba? Duyan ka ng magiting. Ma'am Janice P. Baka bayaran mga nag-record, sabi ni Ma'am Janice P. Siguro nga. Leonie Ariola, Tamsak Dan, host, God bless you in every way. Romeo C. Merly Di Pompes, good morning. Sir Dong, late na ako, kagigising lang po. Miguel shoutout sa lahat. Naku! Na-miss mo na naman yung kwento ko. Naku, paano ba yan eh? Ang hirap kaya magkwento, Ma'am Merly. Bahala ka. Magano ka na lang. Magano ka na lang. Mag-replay ka na lang. Opo, Sir Dong, huwag na po patulan ng gugulo. Focus lang po. Dating Tins BBC po. Si Ma'am Tins BBC pala. Alright. Been listening while having dinner. The truth shall set you free, Sir Francis. Sabi ni Ma'am Janice. Aragoy, ma-replay na naman ako, sabi ni Ma'am Merly Pompes. Lopez Nenita 544, may grabe shoutout.
Yun lang. Try mo lang din. Ayos na ba yung
So, ayun po. Nabasa na po natin ang kabuuan. Ang haba, no? Samantalang yung dating decision, convict agad. Wala nang pero-pero, di ba? Pero dito, inexplain ng court. Inexplain ng court kung papaano, no? Papaano nila ni-reverse yung decision, no? Napakahaba po ang kanilang explanation. Just imagine, 18 pages po yon. Ma'am Gloria Mesa in the house. Hello sir, good morning. And solid FLM supporters. God bless our pandemic hero, Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. Long live. Sabi ni Ma'am Gloria Mesa. Ayun. Man of Steel, Presdong, sila ay mga tsuwariwap. Pero tayo, espirikitik, walastik, bombastic. Yes, Press Man of Steel. Lopez Neneta. Di ba? Hinilisa Gonzaga, good morning, Sir Dong. At kay Boss FLM, congratulations po. Boss, matatapos din po pag hihirap mo dyan. Tiwala lang sa Panginoon at kami naman po di titigil sa pagdasal. Sabi ni Ma'am Hiniliza Gonzaga. Press Dong, hindi ba sala yon umakyat sa Zoom ni Boss? Sabi ni Romeo C. May nagre-record daw. Super iyak ko nang marinig ko yung birada nyo po kahapon, Sir Dong. Kasi lalaya na ako. Lalaya ka? Lalaya ka na. Hello sis Ninita and sis Jean. Sabi ni Ma'am Gloria Mesa. Jen Devotes. Judith Elias. Gani Rosales. Kay Sir Ephraim pa nangyari. Hindi pa napapasa sa PC. Kaya siya nakasuhan o sadyang kagustuhan ng tadhana. Maranasan ni Sir FLM ganitong bagay, lalo siyang tumibay. Sabi ni Gani Rosales. Sir Ali Daod Bigam, Sir Dong, money is the root of evil. Ayan, sabi nga ni Sir Ali. Tatlong taong pakikibaka kaya ang saya. Pero hindi pa siya makakalaya. Meron pang isang kaso. No? Hopefully, sooner or later, makalaya at makalaya. Wala namang wala namang
Ay, ito lang pasok sa bunso. Si Syra.
So yun po.
Saan pupunta yun? Tanghaling tapat. Patulungin mo yan.
Acquitted po si boss. Just imagine,
Tulungin mo yung dalawa.
Pre, nakalip ako.
Ay, sorry sir.
Ma'am Shirley Tejero in the house. Sir Dong, may link ba yung desisyon ng RTC para mabasa rin namin ang kabuuan ng desisyon nila sa kasong anti-alias law? Hindi ko lang po alam, ma'am. Parang wala yata. Wala po yata. Pero pwede namang public documents na naman ito. Pwede namang magpa-request din kung sinong gustong mag-request. Pero pwede namin kayong bigyan ng kopya sakali. Ayan, grabe, no? Sobrang sobrang intense kahapon, no? Nagkataon na lapat. Gina, 88 Singapore in the house. Sir Dong, bigyan mo kaming original sa GC namin. Kami na bahala magbasa. Sabi ni Ma'am Merle de Pompes. Yes. Sige, iano ko na lang to, ha. I-spread out ko na lang to. Pinasirox ko muna. Kahit birth certificate lang tayo, Dong, kung pwede po, sabi ni Cani Rosales. Yes, sige. Ma'am Binos Buenavista, napaiyak din ako kagabi sa balita ukol kay Boss FLM. Lahat tayo ano no. Lahat tayo napaluha talaga. Press dong. Ano pong piniprint ninyo diyan? Pakinig ko po. Nagpapa-xerox po ako. Sinexerox po yung decision. Bibigyan ko si boss ng kopya. Bibigyan ko yung lawyers. So, ano po. Ang isang kaso na lang talaga, no? Ang anti-alias. Yun naman ay magkaroon na ng hearing itong March. Supposedly, ang original hearing dapat Senate ng judge ay March 20. Itong prosecution, yung mga kalaban natin ay nag-file ng postponement until April. Luckily, no, hindi na pumayag yung judge. So, sa either March 20 or 21, magkakaalaman po kung anong mangyayari dito sa kanyang qualified human trafficking. Sabi ni Press Jonet Maduya, Press Man of Steel, Canada, Miguel Love, shoutout, ang saya natin lahat. Mabuhay, PPCI Worldwide Family. God is good all the time. Mabuhay ang Boss Francis Leo Antonio Marcos. Kagrabe, no? Ma'am Lorna Rutherford, IBPCI UK in the house. Hello, Sir Dong. That was good news. Our idol, Francis Leo Marcos. Mabuhay ka, sir! Sabi ni Ma'am Lorna. Ma'am Lorna Rutherford, ang IBPCI UK. O, diba? Unti-unti na, no? Unti-unti. Unti-unti nang nabubuksan ang katotohanan at nalulusaw ang mga bashers. Ay, nako. Kawawa naman at saka may mga future bashers na, no? Kawawa naman sila. Kawawa naman. Kawawa. Walang ano, no? Wala silang katahikan sa kanilang buhay. Tayo dito ay pa-chill-chill lang. Patawa-tawa lang. This program is brought to you by Ma'am Shirley Tejero, FFCI Laguna Super Sticker. Thank you so much, Ma'am Shirley Tejero, sa iyong super sticker. Mabilis na po. Yan, at sa pangalan yung human trafficking, kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, parang bagong ipinanganak si Boss FLM lang. Ere na lang at lalabas din siya. Sabi ni Ma'am Evie Milan. Malapit. Konti na lang at makakalabas sama-sama. Makakasama na natin si Boss FLM sa live niya. Di ba? Aaminin ko po, Pres Dong. Inulit ko yung live dahil late po ako. Napaluha din po ako. Hindi ko po napigilan sa saya ko. May awa ang Diyos. Sabi ni President Man of Steel of Canada. Ayun, pareha tayo, Pres. Ganon ang mga lalaki. Tunay na lalaki. Marunong umiyak. O, di ba? Si boss, nasaksihan namin sa harap namin na talagang umiyak siya. Di ba? Grabe, grabe, grabe. Yan sabi ni President Man of Steel eh. Tayong mga tunay na lalaki, pres, ang bilis nating umiyak. Di ba? Papa Kiddy, dapat magpa-presscon para malaman ng mga tao nangyari. Yes. Tayo natin ha. Magpa-schedule tayo kay Attorney Johnny siguro.
Nakita ko, nasa school mo. Dito.
Oni Solano in the house. Braveheart, Evelyn Black. In the house. Si ano rin, si Merly Di Pompis din, umiyak. Iyakin pala to eh. Malapit na rin ang panahon ng paniningil kay Mr. Lorenzo at mga kasamahan niya para makapag-counter-charge na ang mga abogado ni Sir FLM ng civil at criminal charges laban sa kanila, Sir Don. Sabi ni Sir Don Vincent McLean, USA. Janet Barona in the house. Press Jonet. Lovely J in the house. Golf Steward. Get well son. Senyor. Sabi ni Ma'am Lovely J. Konnichiwa, Sir Dong. Sir FLM, always pray for you. Si Japanese character. Konnichiwa, Sir Dong. Always. FLM, always pray for you. Ayun. Thank you so much. Ma'am. Vice President Nida Bautista in the house. Nandito kami noon at hanggang paglabas ni Idol. Gandang Virgin J, FLM lang, USA in the house. Hello po tayo dong. Hello sa lahat driving. Ayan, ingat po. Gandang V. Ayun. Diba? Medyo masaya po tayo maging kahapon, talagang hindi namin walang pagsidlan, walang paglag. Nasa live ako. Sige, mamaya ulit ha. Bye-bye. Ma'am Soraya Zalazar in the house. Hello po, Sir Dong. May love shoutout po sa lahat. Di mo talaga maiwasan mapaluha sa magandang balita. Lalo't nasubaybayan mo si Idol FLM simula't simula. We always pray for the best. Sabi ni Ma'am Soraya Salazar. Nakatulog ako ng mahimbing kagabi dahil sa big good news para kay FLM. Sabi ni Ma'am Braveheart, God is good talaga. Ma'am Mela Balubal in the house. Hello po sa lahat. Nakikinig lang po. Lahat po umiyak tayo hanggang kanina naiyak ako kasi nakausap ko uli si Duyan ng Magiting. Nagpasalamat siya sa suporta na binibigay natin. Sabi ni Ma'am Ems Pascual, wow. Sabi ni Ma'am Janice P, nothing compares to the happiness you felt, Sir Dong. Sir Taidong, yes. Sobrang tuwa namin at napaluha din talaga, Ma'am Janice. Sir Dong, may tanong lang. Anong nangyayari sa grupo ni Nasuker? Hindi na sila pumunta sa mansyon. Akala ko solid FLM supporters sila. Nagtataka lang ako kasi lagi sa mansyon si hinirang ng langit. Actually, Ma'am Glo, ay di ko rin po alam. And I think magkakaroon po ng pag-uusap uli. Pinapaubaya ko na sa kanila yung si boss na makausap sila. Ayan mo, ma'am, babalik din yan mga yan. President Clarita D. Mayuga in the house. Shoutout sa future buzzers. Masyakit ang katotohanan na ayaw natin tanggapin ang ating pagkakamali. Maghinay-hinay lang po sana at minsan manalamin po tayo, magmuni-muni minsan po. Sana, sabi ni President Claire D. Mayuga ng IBFCI Laguna. O, diba? Yan yung mga taong walang puso sa kapwa. Kung mayroon man maliit, tayo malaki ang ating puso, di ba? Hindi ko po rin, Ma'am Glo, hindi ko rin talaga alam kung anong nangyari at ayaw kong mag-comment tungkol dyan. Sinsya na po. Ako po ay di makatapos ng LS, pero kagabi natapos ko, di pa rin ako natutulog hanggang ngayon. Sabi ni Gani Rosas. Nako, matulog kayo, sir. Baka naman mahirap yan, ha? Masama yan, hindi natutulog. Just out from the subway, sabi ni Ma'am Tess. Salvi Balaoro in the house, Jindy Boats. Big love shoutout, big hug, kapsat sa happy lang. So happy lang. Sabi ni Ma'am Dolores FLM TV, dito sa amin sa Las Piñas may mga taga Tugigaraw at super kilala nila si Sir FLM, kaya kahit anong paninira sa katotohanan niya, hindi sila naniniwala dahil kilala nila ng tunay, sabi ni Ma'am Dolores FLM TV. Lovely J, Jindy Boats, FFC, Bilgyo, may love shoutout. Hoy mga baser, ngayon kayo magsisigaw ng lahat na gusto nyo at malapit nang mag-end ang love story nyo, sabi ni Ma'am Merly Di Pompes. Diba? Salamat sa Panginoon dahil 4 months lang ang itinagal sa kamay ng RTC para i-review ang kaso at nilabas ang findings nila na mali ang MTC sa pag-guilty nila kay FLM, na ni-reverse ng ang desisyon ng MTC. Diba? Ang ganda ng ang ganda ng argumento ng lawyer, diba? Again and again, Miguel love shoutout sa mga bumati po sa akin. God bless you. Sabi ni Tess FLM Canada, paulit-ulit pong pinapanood yung LS kagabi, pati yung mga share sa FB ng mga friends ko. Ayan, sabi ni Ems Pascual. Sabi ni Ma'am Evie Milan, prayer warriors po tayo sa mabilis na paglabas ni Boss FLM at buong team FLM. Yan sabi ni Ma'am Evie Milan. Grabe, no? Ibang klase rin, ano? Just imagine. Kumbaga, limutan na namin yun, eh. Pero doon sa mga nagre-record sa Zoom, ay ako yung nakikiusap, no? Wag naman, wag nyo na, ano. Ano bang kasalanan sa inyo ni boss? Wala namang kasalanan eh. Kung ilabas natin yung pagiging pagiging magkaibigan nyo doon sa mga taong ika nga ngayon, mga kalaban ko, hindi nyo naman kalaban yun eh. Ako lang naman may kalaban doon eh. So ilibas nyo dito sa ating gawain dito sa FLM, dito sa mansion at kay boss. Huwag kayong magiging bias, Huwag kayong magiging unfair kasi napaka-unfair 'yon. Kumbaga tinanggap namin kayo bilang aming kapamilya dito, kaibigan. Naging tinuring ko namin kayo na isang kaibigan, pero wag niyo namang abusuhin, no? Wag kayong mag-record. Mga ganyan eh, napaka stupido yung yan eh. Ka-stupidohan yan eh. Ano bang kasalanan ni FLM sa inyo? Di ba? Kung galit kayo sa akin, di sa akin kayo galit. Huwag niyong sirain si FLM. Sa ginagawa niyo, hindi naman si FLM nasisira eh. Hindi naman ako nasisira eh. Si FLM naman eh. Kung gusto niyong ayaw niyong sumunod or kung member kayo ng FFCI, kung ayaw niyong sumunod talaga sa directive ng FFCI, ay malaya kayong umalis ng FFCI. At doon kayo, magwalwal kayo, murahin niyo ako hanggat gusto niyo, hanggat maputol yung litid niyo sa liig, di ba? Huwag ganon. For all you know, ako lang kalaban nito mga ito, hindi si FLM. Yan ang sinasabi nila. At sinasabi ng FLM yan, bahala ako. So, ibig sabihin, bahala ako. Kung hindi makikialam si FLM. So, kayo na kasama dito sa Zoom, na galit sa akin, o di, diretsahan na lang tayo. Kaysa naman siraan nyo si FLM. Hindi naman ako ang nasisira doon, si FLM naman. Honey Girl, aka Winter Lily. Miguel Love, shout out. Kaya na po mga kapatid. Nasaan na kaya si Lolo Alpha mapadalhan nga ng love letter? Ito na ang tunay na nalutang na, sabi ni Ma'am Merly de Pompes. Taydong, salahin na lang mga attend sa Zoom, sabi ni Salvi Balaoro. Lahat naman kasi kilala natin ng mga uma-attend eh. Lovely J, Merly de Pompes, Jonet Maria Miguel, shout out. Dapat may mag-monitor sa Zoom, Kuya Dong, yung open cam lahat. Ayun nga, kaso nga lang, ang hirap, no? Ano bang kasalanan nila kay FLM? At pang-trahedor yan eh. Tinatrahedor niya sa FLM, hindi ako. Isipin nyo naman kung sino ang sinisiraan nyo dyan. Si FLM, hindi ako. Kasi ako, wala namang, walang problema sa akin dahil hindi ako restricted. Nasa laya ako. Si FLM, siya talaga yung nakakaawa dito. Pero doon sa mga may galit sa akin, nakikigalit kayo sa akin, di, nasa sa inyo yun, wala namang problema. Hindi ko naman kayo pinagbabawalan na magalit sa akin. Magalit kayo sa akin, sumama kayo sa kanila para tapos-tapusan tayo. Ang gusto namin dito sa mansion ay yung talagang dito lang, hindi yung wag natin ilabas yung mga usap-usapan. Tayo? Real talk tayo. Hindi ko naman kayo pigilan na magalit sa akin. Simpatsya yan eh. Pero as far as I'm concerned, wala po akong naging kasalanan sa lahat. maaring nakapagsalita ako ng mabigat na pananalita, pero hanggang doon na lang yun. At hindi ko naman minimin yun. Ma'am BP Agapi Khan, if she agrees, hello po Sir Dong. Good morning po, may love shoutout po sa lahat. Ayun. So, yun po. Yung ginagawa nyong pagre-record, tapos papabigay doon sa kalaban ko, pambabalahura yun para kay FLM Alright, balik po tayo, no? Baby in the house, hello tayo Dong. Sir Dong, yan ang tinatawag na Tridor. Yes, Ma'am Merly. Lipad Agila, sabi ni Ma'am Baby in. Aha. Tridor talaga. Sunny Baron, walang boses si Sir Dong. Meron na po. 3 taon nagdusa si boss na wala naman ginawang kasalanan. Wala kayong konsensya, sabi ni Salvi Balaoro. Di ba? Oh, ano bang ginagawa natin pag nag-Zoom tayo, 'di ba? 'Yun ay pinag-usapan po natin yung ating tuloy-tuloy na pagtulong sa mga mamamayan natin dito. Masama ba 'yon? Para 'di ba, gawan niyo ng masamang impression at ipapahamak niyo si FLM? Ano bang ito kasi ang tanungan diyan. Ano ba talaga ang malaking kasalanan ni FLM sa mga yon Di ba? Manalamin kayo, no? Doon sa mga gumagawa ng katrayduran, manalamin kayo. Ha? Kung kayo ba ay karapat-dapat, kung kayo ba ay malinis. Ha? At manalamin kayo bakit kayo nagagalit kay FLM. Pambihira naman yan. Ayoko nang magalit pero kung malaman ko lang talaga kung sino kayo, pasensyahan tayo kasi automatic talaga yan. Ibablock ko talaga kayo, no? Hindi ko kayo tatantanan kung sino kayo. Masama yung hindi maganda yung ginawa nyo, ha? Doon sa mga nakakaalam kung sino yung nagre-record, pakisabi nyo sa akin.
Ate lang PAGKAKASALA.
Mm. Ano na?
Ate lang bata.
Ano na?
Ate Sigab.
Ayun natin.
Iwan 50 yan.
Okay.
Kaya namin expedition.
Okay, okay.
Pagbalik mo na sana.
Sige, sige. Ay, nako. Ulitin ko, no? Kung sino yung nakakaalam, kung sino talagang may gawa nun, pasabi na lang sa akin. Ibablock na natin yan dito sa FLM community. Ako hindi nakatulog agad dahil sa saya at tululuha at pag-idlip ko na napapanaginipan ko si Sir FLM white long sleeve at may kalong siya na batang maliit. Ba? Golf Steward. Ma'am Briones, Lord Del Liza. Sir Dong Batalan, good morning. Nagising lang po. Barcelona time, 5:05. Madaling araw po. Tay Golf. Tama, good na Sir Dong, sabi ni Dolores FLM TV. Hello po, Tay Golf. Miguel, shoutout po, sabi ni Braveheart. Hermano, FLM, sabimos que Dios está con nosotros y nunca duerme y pronto estarás en libertad para ti. Hermano FLM, y vamos larga vida todos, hermanos. Bravo y bravo, sabi ni Golf Steward. Kilala ko yung mga nasa Zoom again sa FFCI, sabi ni Ma'am Tess FLM Canada. Sige nga, Ma'am Tess, sabihin mo nga sa akin. Yung galit sila kay FLM, don't waste your time attending the Zoom na lang. Please po, sabi ni Ma'am Janice P. Kung galit sila kay FLM, don't waste your time attending the Zoom na lang po. Please po, sabi ni Ma'am Janice. Sir Dong, may tanong. Nasa likuran nila kaya sila ganon? Malamang. Sarah Jonabel, FFCI, Room Italy in the house. Miguel, shoutout sa lahat mga kapatid. Mga hudas, mga traidor. Braveheart, FLM Vlog, maraming salamat anak. God bless you. Always sabi ni Golf Steward. Taydong, ba't wala ka jacket sa'yo? Isa. Dalawa kasi account ko. Sige ma'am. Nilagyan na kita ma'am. Sabi ni Ma'am Bell Pepper full dapat lang i-block yung traidor na yan, Sir Dong. Yes. Anong selby itong mga ito para, di ba? Lumayas na lang sila. Ma'am Tess, sabihin mo nga kung sino yan. Baka akala nila, malakas sila kung kanino. Baka malakas sila sa akala nila, malakas sila kung kanino, Hindi po pwede sa akin yan. Macau Alitia, sir, huwag, Sharon Agoncillo, FFC, Macau Alitia, sir, huwag niyo pong sirain ang kagwapuhan nyo dahil lang sa mga traidor. Ang mahalaga po, sir, masaya po tayo sa resulta. Kaso ni boss, sabi ni Ma'am Sharon Agoncillo ng FFC ay Macau Alitia. Juliet Brillantes in the house, nalit Sir Dong, agbyag. Wow ha, kayo na honey girl. Sabi ni Honey Girl, Ma'am Bell, pupunta si Mayor Digala dito sa Hawaii. Ididate ko siya. Ha ha ha. Ba! Ma'am Bell. Ako kagabi sobrang saya ko tay. Natulo luha ko talaga kasi sobrang saya yung pakiramdam mabuhay. Ka-boss, Idol FLM, nag-isa ka lang talaga. Sabi ni Ma'am Briones. Flor de Lisa. Miguel shoutout Janice. Aha. Kaya grabe talaga, no? Sabi ni Ems Pascual, ikaw, kung sino ka man, kung nanonood ka ngayon, oo, ikaw, makonsensya ka. Sabi ni Ma'am Ems Pascual. Wala talagang ano, no? Ito mga katarantaduhan talaga nila. Napakasaklap. Bell Paperful Golden Kalakal Tupay with Mega Love shout out. Saludo mucho, sabi ni Golf Steward. Mega Love shout out Sir Gold, tama ng pag-iyak. Ayaw nila sumikat si boss at ayaw nila makita tumulong sa kapwa Pilipino. Di nila kaya ang ginawa ni boss ngayon lang. Taydong ayaw nila sumikat. Kaya sirain nila ang kabutihan ginawa ni Boss Francis. Sabi ni Pres Jonet Madria. Ruazeli Torres in the house. Honey Girl and Ma'am Bell. And if he comes to San Francisco, ako naman kadit niya. Sabi ni Ma'am Janice P. Pero for all you know, Ma'am Janice and Ma'am Odette, dadaan po sa Manila. Si Mayor, haharangin ko para antayin si Ma'am Bell. Tatawagan ko si Ma'am Bell. Ma'am Bell, nandito na si Mayor. Lipad ka na. This program is brought to you by Vice President Agapi Can, EVPCI Greece. Super sticker. Thank you so much. Ayun. Yan po ang super sticker ni Vice President Agapi Can. Thank you so much, Ma'am Agapi Can. Magpakatotoo kasi kayo hanggang maaga pa, mga kapatid. O, di ba? Yes, anong meron? Bakit hindi sila masitigil? Panay marites sa kalaban, dapat doon na sila sa kalaban. Wala na sila mag-attend ng Zoom at sa mansyon, doon na sila kalaban magpasom, di ba? Inggit na inggit sila, no? Ha, Taydong, ha, sabi ni Ma'am Honey Girl. Wow, ha? Kayo na talaga, ha? Nako, Ma'am Bell, huwag kang mag-alala, Ma'am Bell. Palili pa rin kita pag nalaman kong palipad ni si Mayor dito. Dadaan naman yan dito, yan eh. Haharangin ko sa naiya yan. Bell Pepper for Golden Kalakal. Ma'am, sorry po, doon pa man na niyurakan nila si Hermano FLM. Di ko mapigilan na maiyak po. Bakit ganon sila kay Hermano? Wala namang ginawa masama si FLM sa kanila, sabi ni Golf Steward. Di lang ninyo alam, tapos na kami. Bella. O ba? Tapos na pala sila ni Ma'am Bell. Yan ang sinasabi ko eh. Taydong, mag-direct flight po from Lawag to Hawaii. Ay, ganon. Sobra naman kayo. Ma'am Bell, unahan na natin. Punta na tayo sa Bintar. Aragoy. Marami palang girlfriend si Mayor. Paano na kami sa mga kabit? Joke lang. Tawanan na lang natin, Sir Dong. Sabi ni Ma'am Bell Pepperful. Good morning, Ma'am Bell Pepperful. Sabi ni Ma'am Cindy Boats. Sir Dong, mga double face. This program is brought to you. Nako, Ma'am Merly. Na-hide kita. Sorry, ha. Ma'am Merly, na-hide kita. Sorry talaga. Itong dalili ko kung saan-saan pumupunta. Sorry. Hindi ko sinadya, Ma'am Merly. Sorry. I love you. Sorry po talaga. This program is brought to you again by Vice President Agapi Can, FFCI Greece, Super Chat. FLM lang ang malakas, agbyag. Yan ang sabi ni Ma'am Vice President Agapi Can ng FFCI Greece. Ma'am Merly, sorry na-hide kita. Paano ba i-hide to? Hindi, babalik naman yata yan. Sorry po talaga. Hindi ko sinadya yan, ha. Ma'am Bell, naamoy ko na siya, sabi ni Ma'am Honey Girl. Talaga ha, Honey Girl, ha? Naunahan mo pa ako, ha? Paano ba pag na-hide? Ipaayos ko to mamaya, eh. Papatanggal ko yung pag-hide sa'yo, Ma'am Merly. Rose Gutierrez, Canada. In the house, Taidong, Miguel Love, shout out. Na-delete nyo po ng do. Na-delete ko. Kuya Mor, paano ba to i-unhide? Di lang, ha? Ha, sis Merly. Tinatawanan ka pa ni Ma'am Janice. Angie Martinez in the house. Efrem lang malakas. Sandali lang, Ma'am Merly, ha? Hindi kita pwedeng i-delete. Love na love kaya kita. Sir, ang daliri nyo, ipirmin nyo na lang muna sa bulsa nyo para di makapang-hide. Oo nga, Ma'am Siya. Makasalanan yata yung makasalanan talaga yung daliri na to. Wait lang, ha. Kuya Mor, paano ba to? Na-delete ko. Paano gagawin? Si Ma'am Merly. Oo. Ito.
Na-delete mo siya o na...
Na-hide.
Tsaka ba nakalag dito?
Dito. Kaya. Yan siya. Oh.
Kaya,
Ay, ito.
ano ba FB?
Hindi. Sa YouTube to. Saan ba yan? Ito. Iyan ako na ako dito.
Nandiyan sa ano ba yan? Sa... Kaya ba makikita mo? Sa...
Sige. Wait lang, ha. Ayos ko lang. Nahiya naman ako kay ano. Wait lang, Ma'am Merly.
Na-pride mo siya.
Ah,
Napindot mo, no?
napindot ko lang eh.
Bait naman yan si Ma'am Marley. Ako na nakahid. Bait naman yan.
Ayun.
Kita mo.
Ito, unhide.
Review delete ang message. Yeah.
Okay na.
Pa-message mo nga siya. Pa-commentin mo.
Ayun, Ma'am Merly, mag-comment ka uli. Ayun, unhide din na. Nakita na. Ayun naman pala. So, okay na. O, Ma'am Merly, magano ka? Malikot kasi daliri ko eh. Sabi niya kanina. Ayun na si Ma'am Merly. Ma'am Tessie De Leon Sia, IBFC Hong Kong 544 in the house. Good afternoon sa aming matikas na presidente ng FFCI worldwide. No other than Sir Dong Batalan. Yan ang sabi ni Ma'am Merly. Ma'am Tessie De Leon Sia ng FFCI Hong Kong 544. Ayan. Ayan siya. Okay na, okay na. Kain po muna tayo, sabi ni Ma'am Tess, FLM Canada. Ayun, sabi ni Ma'am Merly Di Pompes, thank you po. Sorry, Ma'am Merly. Press dong, pareho lang kayo ni Sis Merly na mahilig sa dot-dot. Merly, mahilig ka rin sa dot-dot. Merly Di Pompes, ganoon talaga minsan ang kamay ni Sir Dong. Kaya nga ako din, minsan sa live ko, nako, di ko nagalaw ay nawalan, sabi ni Sir Golf Steward. Maria, Gracia Pacaldo, FFC Macau, Alitia in the house. Alright, so ano pa bang mga katanungan nyo? Baka meron kayong katanungan tungkol dun sa decision ng ditong sa kaso ni FLM. Pwede kayong magtanong sa akin habang nandito pa tayo. Sis Evie, ikaw ha, i-booking muna naman ako, sabi ni Ma'am Merly. Lovely J, Golf Steward, como estas, senyor? Sabi ni Lovely J.
Lapit, pwede mong yung maliit na bilao.
Okay, so sorry po. Meron pa tayong katiksmik. Super saya ko na sis AB, di na ako gagala, sabi ni Ma'am Merly Di Pompes. Lovely Jamie Galab, shout out. May buenas saludo mocho y te quiero, estoy bien. Gracias Lovely J, sabi ni Golf Steward. Naka-comments na si Ma'am Merly Di Pompes. Ayun, masaya na siya. Bro Golf Steward, magpapagaling ka na at uwi na tayo sa Pinas, sabi ni Merly Di Pompes. Alright, so may lakad pa po tayo. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsama sa ating live ngayon, ano? And mabuhay po tayong lahat. Congratulations po sa ating lahat. At ito na, no, yung mga pangyuyurak ng mga basher sa atin ay ito ay sampal po sa kanila. Okay, so maraming salamat po. At hanggang dito na lang po tayo. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat na nandito sa comment section at lahat ng nanonood sa ating live. Ganoon din po ang mga nag-super chat, nag-super sticker, nagpapalipad. Alright, so pupunta pa po ako kay Boss FLM. Maya-maya lamang konti. At mag-lunch po muna tayo at ako ay aalis na rin papunta kay Boss FLM. Miguel Abisel Sir Dong at dito sa comment section, sabi ni Simple Way Vlog. Dolores FLM, Miguel Ab, shout out, pahag na lang po kay Idol Sir Dong, sabi ni Ma'am Merly Di Pompes. Sure. Ading Limor, aga mo na gising. Pressman of, sabi ni Dolores FLM TV. Sabi ng Pressman, iyakap mo po ako kay Boss paring FLM, sabi ni Pressman of still. Sure Press. Sigurado Press. Okay. So, maraming salamat at magandang araw po sa lahat. God bless. Mabuhay.